Hello, everyone. We're just going to wait for a minute or two for more folks to join in. So hang tight. Hello, everyone, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in from. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Chihan, and I'm a program manager on the APAC Data and Tech Partners team. I oversee the Partner Education and Enablement Program, so you'll be hearing a lot from me in the coming months on upcoming training and upskilling opportunities for certified partners. I would like to introduce my teammate Arunima, who you will see on the screen very shortly. She's an expert on many of services and will be around to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the session. So let's say bye to Arunima for now. Don't worry about taking down notes. These slides will be shared with you via email, and it's also on the EMP as well as our partner webpage after this training session. So let's get started. Here's the agenda for today. First, for those of you who may be unfamiliar, I'll give you a quick walkthrough of what the Enterprise Marketing Portal is and how to navigate it. Then I'll hop in to explain what's new on the Global Partner menu of services. And finally, I'll dive into the use case on how to use the menu of services. And from now, I'll refer to the menu of services as MOS for short. We'll leave about 20 minutes at the end for a short Q&A. So feel free to use the YouTube comment box at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions as and when you have one. We'll address all of them collectively at the end of the session. So the first big question that we tackle is, what is the Enterprise Marketing Portal? So you hear this term or its acronym EMP thrown out quite a bit. Some of you may already be familiar with it, but we'll like to do a refresher for everyone here today. So this is a centralized experience and location for resources serving the enterprise partner and marketer ecosystem. I've included a link to the EMP below so you can explore it at your own pace. It's pretty easy to remember, simply enterprisemarketingportal.google. And it should bring you to the homepage where you can sign up for an account, or if you already have an account, you can sign into your account. Because the EMP will be an evergreen resource for partners and marketers, there will be continuous efforts to grow and improve the site over time, and it will be done through phases in order to meet market demands. So phase one, we've just completed this year. We have been focused on merging the partner portal as well as the solution guides. So some of you may know the partner portal as a previous resource hub for certified partners, and the solutions guides as the cross-text solution content hub. So as we go through this merge, we're keeping in mind that we have to keep it holistic and fully merged. A lot of the feedback we've heard from partners is that you feel as though you're pointed in multiple directions for oftentimes overlapping content. So you prefer to have a single door where you can go to and find all the content about GMP products and solutions in one spot. So that's our goal, to fully and holistically merge the content across the two portals. We also wanted to implement intuitive organization and efficient navigation. This is again something I've heard a lot of feedback from you on. So sometimes navigation can be clunky or it's extremely difficult to find the exact resource you're seeking. So we want to make sure that users are getting the content as quickly and as easily as possible. As we look forward to phase 2 and beyond, there's quite a lot of things you can expect. So a few of the areas we'll be focusing on are personalization of content and paths within the site based on your role and specific use cases. So just for example, if you're a creative director and you log that into the system, we want to be able to show you content that's more curated to the creative works so that you can have access to content that's more relevant to your job. You can also expect us to implement a communication preferences UI, and this is where you'll be able to opt in and opt out of communications from our team, be it for newsletters or anything about products that you may have signed up before. We're also working towards translation and localization. So in phase 1, you'll see that most of the resources on the EMP are in English, and with the exception of just a very few APAC-specific resources. And you can imagine how important for such a diverse region that APAC really needs it available in more languages. So beyond that, we're starting to think about how we can best support the entire global ecosystem and with a special focus on APAC ecosystem. You can also start to expect more content. We're looking at how to expand content related to specific products. So currently, if you click through the solution guides, you can see that some products are more built out than others. We want to make sure that we bridge that gap and start to bring parity to all the products that we feature on site. You also see more solutions-based content, and we're also looking into how to support industry-specific learning paths and content. Finally, we're looking at how do we integrate with some of the partner-facing tools and dashboards that are housed elsewhere, so that we can funnel everyone onto the same location to accomplish both your content and business-related needs, so that you have a one touch point with Google. Now that we've given you a very high-level overview of what the EMP is, let's hop into a quick orientation of the website. So when you key in the URL, you will be brought to this page. And after you log in, you realize that we have dedicated equal real estate to both the Solutions Hub, or at least what used to be a Solutions Hub, as well as the Partner Hub. And if you scroll down, you can see more details on solutions here and equal space dedicated to Partner Hub and partner resources over here. At the top of the page, this is a brand new ribbon where we are featuring new content, so you can scroll through the different cards to see what is new. And if you have caught it already, the Global Partner Menu of Services is actually the second card that's on this ribbon. And you can see that there's a yellow tab saying it's updated. So this is the new Global Partner Menu of Services that we are talking about today. Go ahead to click in to Menu of Services, and it will bring you to this page. And you know you're at the right page when you see this table with multiple colors, columns, and rows. So this is the Partner Menu of Services. The other way you can find this page is by going to Partner Hub and then clicking through into Partner Services. And the first link you see here, Menu of Partner Services, will bring you to the exact same page. So there are two ways to get here. Now that you know where to find the MOS on the Enterprise Marketing Portal, let's dive a bit deeper into what updated MOS is. So we start off with a bit of history. Back in 2018, we launched a partner program-driven menu of services that was built to solve two challenges. First was that globally, partners were delivering against a variety of services, and there was no common language around what the service was, what the deliverable was, and how to implement the solutions. The second was that there was no comprehensive view of what was possible in terms of the universe of services that were currently offered to clients. So the MOS helps to solve both issues by defining a centralized, holistic, and globally aligned approach to partner services. It's organized in a waterfall structure. So it starts off with categories or types of focus areas that you could be knowledgeable on depending on your expertise and certifications. And then going down, so this is the middle circle you see here. It goes on to service areas within each categories, and then finally defining the specific services within the service area that could be delivered by the partners. In 2021, we decided to make a bit of shift in the MOS. So like any component of our partner infrastructure, it is important that we keep updating and refreshing it. So we built on the foundational nature of the very first iteration and made it more dynamic to respond to new products, to new ecosystems, and especially around privacy and evolving market conditions. Another one of our focus is shifting from adoption of the MOS to actually using it to drive enablement and expansion against key product priorities. Something important to note is that the MOS remains the basic infrastructure to our partner program. So you can see that it sits right in the middle of the EMP because it is at the center of what you are delivering to clients when we talk about advanced product users. Ultimately, the MOS helps you to drive your bottom line and scale by driving tech maturity projects. Specifically, we made a few critical enhancements, so you can see them on the slide here. First, we've added two new service areas, Better Web and Commerce. Better Web guides you through how to invest in optimizing site speeds and user experience. This is critical to improving conversion rates. Commerce is on building capabilities across all aspects of the shopping journey that will help marketers to drive sales. Second point is that we have added product enablers, and this is expanding on the detail we provide against how to deliver the services. So this points out which products you need to know in order to deliver a certain service. And finally, on the right, you see that we updated a glossary with revised definition of our services so that we all have a common language around what is a certain service. So this is what the MOS looks like today, and I just showed it to you on the website. So just a quick run through. At the highest classification level is the different colors. So you see the blue and green here. They point to categories like strategy, organization, and ops, or implementation, onboarding, and data architecture. If you go down one level, one column to the right of the colors, you can zoom into specific service areas, and one to the right again is. So each service may come with a solution guide that brings you through a step-by-step process to discover and diagnose your client's maturity level, and then help them create solutions to increase their tech maturity. So these are denoted by the links you see in this column over here. Like what I mentioned in the previous slide, there's also additional columns on supporting materials, certificate requirements, as well as product enablers to help you understand what you need to deliver a certain service. So across all services, we have updated the MOS to ensure that we only showcase the most durable and the most privacy-proof solutions to keep up with evolving regulations. So you can feel confident that any solution you implement for clients today will be able to future-proof their data and tech infrastructure in the future. So pulling it all together, I've now run through what is the MOS, how to navigate it, and where to find the EMP. Now I'm going to walk you through a bit more about how you can actually use the MOS in improving your daily business practices. So for Googlers and partners alike, our intent is to provide an actionable framework. And the keyword here is really actionable to help move clients up the digital maturity framework. So you will likely already be familiar with the concepts that are laid out in this digital maturity curve. But if you don't, here's a quick run through. So together with BCG, we've defined 4 key stages in digital maturity for marketers. The first in the lower left is nascent. This generally looks like a marketer which is heavily reliant on campaign-based execution, and they mainly use third-party data. As they move up to emerging, marketers start to expand the data they use. So they start to incorporate elements of first-party and third-party data to use in basic programmatic media buying, but they may also rely on more manual bidding and more single-channel optimization and testing. When they move to connected, this is when they fully integrate first-party and third-party data across multiple channels, and they also demonstrate the link to ROI as well as sales proxies. And finally, at the pinnacle is multi-moment. So this is where very few marketers are right now, but this is where we aspire them to be. It refers to dynamic execution that is optimized towards single customer business outcomes across all their channels. So in the gray text that it's mapped to the curve, you can see that each service area and its relevant capabilities are mapped to each stage of the maturity framework. So you can use this to figure out where your clients are right now and what services they need to move up to the next level. This helps you create a long-term strategic plan centered on evolving their digital maturity. We also like to think of the menu of services as a journey. So you see here there's a combined effort between Google and the partner. In addition to Google providing you with a more transparent framework for you to deliver projects, we also want to support you through the mapping as well as evolution of your services. So on our end, we are setting a common language and raising the awareness of MOS in order to map your services and understand particular areas of specialization. So this education is also done on the marketer side to understand how they can use this to approach you for services. At the same time, this provides you an opportunity to leverage the MOS to identify growth opportunities for your clients and chart their growth against it. So again, if we go down to the solution guides, which I'll get to shortly, this will help you have a step-by-step guide in delivering best-in-class solutions. And our partner managers will be there every step of the way to help you build your services and strategize how to grow your practice. You may be familiar with the term Tech Maturity Projects, TPM for short, and I mentioned it a few times now. So the feedback we've heard is that it's quite a vague term. No one really knows what TMP means, and partners and marketers may have different interpretations of what this is. So we want to set the record straight. This slide illustrates what TMPs are and how they map to the Partner MoS. And I think the easiest way to think about this is that TMPs are a subset of the universe of partner services. So on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see a listing of all partner services. And in blue, the top three are the foundational ones. They're foundational to servicing and training of clients and in the operation of our platforms. So these are, you can think of this as primarily for clients who are less advanced, more in the nascent and emerging phases, even though they can apply to clients at all stages of the maturity framework. TMPs are the rest of the services in gray. As you can see, there are a lot more of them. And it's also because they're more specialized and they're more advanced projects for clients, typically in the emerging phase and beyond. So with the MoS, all of the services can be mapped to a TMP that matches the breadth and depth of your capabilities. It can help you identify the right service package for your clients. Some questions we also hear from you are that, how do we monetize our business using services? This is all well and good, but we can't really figure out a way to monetize and develop a business plan around it. Is there also a standardized pitch process that will help us convince clients that TMPs are actually critical to their business? So to answer this question, this is where I think the executive proposal templates are extremely useful. These are generated for each possible service, and they outline a summary of the project, the possible project outcomes, timelines, milestones, requirements, and so on. So it's packaged nicely with a Google Bowl to kind of help you build synergy in how services are being pitched to marketers. And it also sets the expectations for marketers on what services you can expect upon contracting with you. So we hope that this will help you build a conversation of how to position a certain service, how to charge for these services, and eventually how to deliver the services. So the other useful resource are the GMP Solution Guides. So the objective of these guides is to jumpstart activation with detailed technical how-tos to support best-in-class solutions development. These guides are put together with close partnerships from some of our leading partners, and you may have been involved in some of them. So we are also in the process of developing new guides for new products. So be on the lookout for them. They will appear in the MoS or on the ribbon where we feature new updates. So these are the 8 service categories in the MoS. I won't go through all of them, and you can explore them at your own pace, but we'll send around a deck that has every single one in detail. Now picture this. One of your clients comes to you with a key business challenge. They are kind of a medium-sized business with a few disconnected and outdated legacy systems. And they ask you, how do I simplify my tech infrastructure? How do I update my tech infrastructure? Specifically, they ask if you could help them conduct a full-stack implementation of the Google Marketing Platform. So you already have some materials available in your in-house resources, but you decide to go to the MoS to see what Google is offering you. And once you scroll through the 8 service areas, you see that they actually come up in implementation, specifically implementation, onboarding, and data architecture. So you double-click on this section, and you see that there's a whole bunch of services that are being offered as well. You have a few more conversations with clients, and you realize that what they require right now is a fundamental platform audit and update. So this will involve mapping out their current tech infrastructure, sharpening their goals, and seeing through the process of implementing a consolidated tech stack with them from start to end. Now, I know this example is quite a basic one, and many of you may already have your own processes to onboard and audit your clients. But I wanted to walk through a more general example that everyone can relate to, so we can broadly explain the usefulness of a solution guide. So we welcome you to explore the more advanced ones, including on data ingestion or UX optimization at your own time. So let's dive in this platform's audit guide. Generally, the first page of any solution guide that you open will orient you to how it is structured. So for this particular guide, you can see that each section explores one phase of Google's recommended implementation framework. So it goes from preparation through design all the way to launch and readiness. And specifically, it provides instructions and resources that will guide and customize the process with marketers. So the really good thing about this is that if you're stuck at a certain phase, you can jump straight to that phase to see what resources are available. If not, you can run through from start to end. So let's go through phase 1 to see what resources are available. So phase 1 is further broken down into 4 steps. We have plan, operations, setup, and governance. It's pretty basic stuff that will be quite intuitive to you. But I think the key here is really the ones in the hyperlinks, which are the project roadmaps, team roster, and other tools that we're providing. And you see here in step 1, we provided a template for a project roadmap to outline the tasks and timings for each phase of implementation. It's a classic Gantt chart, but I think the value add is that it states quite clearly what each task is and provides a baseline for you to map out your project. There are additional resources like a project charter, which will also act as an executive summary for key intentions and implementations from the prepare and discover phases. So you can also use the charter to socialize the implementation purpose across the organization and use it to support the onboarding process for new team members. Going to step 2. So this is after you have figured out the team roster as well as, this is after you have figured out the project roadmap and the project charter, and you go into the team roster. So this is a template which can be used to assign roles and responsibilities to each team member. And we have tabs specified for project ownership, cross-functional stakeholders, or other stakeholders involved in the ad tech or the MarTech stack. So as implementing the full stack requires careful coordination across involved parties, we've also provided additional best practices in the guide that you can click through. For example, we recommend setting daily standouts with team members, especially in the first month of the project, planning for regular check-ins with executive leadership to review progress and gain approvals, as well as maintaining a log of cross-dependencies, especially when there's a very complex web of interdependencies. Step 3 is how to set up and kick off a meeting so that all stakeholders can familiarize themselves with the project vision, scope, and ways of working together. So we've listed down some key considerations here, including what to put on the meeting agenda for the first kickoff meeting, who are the key attendees, who are the key decision makers you should have in the room, what kind of inputs and outputs you require before the meeting and after the meeting, as well as the next steps after the kickoff meeting. So after this, we want to define an operating model to govern the process. And here we've listed out a few possible approaches in defining a marketing center of excellence. So this ranges from more distributed models on the left to more centralized models on the right. And as you can see, it really depends on the kind of project you're undertaking, the maturity of the client to decide on which kind of model to use. And here we've listed out very clearly what the role of the center is, what is the role of the marketer and the brands, as well as the pros and cons of each approach, so that you can decide on what is best given the project parameters and the requirements of the client. Once the operating model roles, responsibilities, and operating processes have been defined, we can then map out educational needs. So currently, you may already be familiar that the Google account team works with you and marketers to identify general product capability training, as well as certification paths. You can see the full list of trainings available in learning tools and resources on the Enterprise Marketing Portal. But where your value add is helping in the development of custom implementation training materials. So this training will be related to a marketer's configuration, their tagging, and their reporting. And it will need to be conducted when a production-ready environment is available. You can also help the development of custom process training related to future state operating and governance processes, such as on how to collect data, how to analyze data, and how to draw insights on monthly reports. So I've just stepped through one part of many of the solution guides that are available on the EMP. I hope that gave you a sense of how extensive the resources are and a broad understanding of what solution guides look like and can help you consult with the client. So kind of putting it all together, our overall aim is to support the long-term growth of your businesses. We recognize that a mature ecosystem is good for you, it's good for us at Google, it's good for our marketers, so we're dedicated to supporting partner growth. The Partner MoS should help you understand where your current offerings are focused on, what services other partners are offering to clients, and hence, how can you remain competitive in terms of the range of services you're offering. And finally, where you should focus your practices development and growth on. I have one last slide to wrap up. So before I move on, we'll have the Q&A after the wrap up, and I don't see any questions in the comment box yet. Feel free to key them in so that we can get to them right after my wrap up. So I want to thank all of you today for joining our conversation around the MOS. We have spoken with some of you, and we're very excited to share the framework, and we are thrilled to have shared it with you today. So going forward, there are next steps you can consider. First is to undergo the internal exercise of understanding where your services fall against the MOS. Second is to develop validation of your ability to deliver these services, and then begin providing examples of your work, kind of like a portfolio for your clients. And finally, you can identify areas of opportunities to reference similar language and describe services in your marketing materials to kind of forge continuity in marketer conversations. If you have any questions, we encourage you to either ask us right now or connect with your partner manager if you have specific questions that are related to your needs. So that's all we have. We shall now invite Arunima back on screen. And yeah, then there's still no questions, so please feel free to enter them into the comment box. I see we have about half an hour left, which is quite abundant time to answer questions. So Alex asks, when will the TMPs be live? Arunima, do you want to take this? You're on mute, Arunima.
Thanks for that. Hey, Alex, thank you for the question. There are a lot of, or some tech maturity projects already on the EMP that you can look through, especially some of the ones that Chihan was referring to today. Some of the new areas around commerce, better web, and app will be rolled in throughout the rest of this quarter to the end of the year. We're hoping that the entirety of the menu of services will be updated prior to 2022 launch. But if there are any specific tech maturity projects that you're looking to pitch or start solutioning, please let us know, and there are internal resources we can share with you.
Thank you, Arunima and Alex. I hope that answers your question. So where are the TMP templates? They can be found on the EMP. I can send you the link to exactly where they are after this session. We have a question from Laura. When will commerce and mobile projects be live on EMP?
Yep. Hey, Laura. The commerce tech maturity projects are in the process of launching by the end of this month, and mobile should already be available, but it depends on the specific solution that you're referring to. By the end of this quarter, we're hoping to have all updated.
Next is Dennis. Do I have to make an MOS and submit it to the Google Partner team for checking?
I can take this one. I think what you may be asking is, do we have to verify the service that you're executing on behalf of your partner with your partner team? No, it's not mandatory. But of course, if there are any services that you may not be familiar with how to implement, or if there are challenges with sort of the briefing document being put together, then of course, please reach out to your Google Partner team for more guidance. But you are welcome to use all of the solutions guides, implementation guides, and everything that you've seen today on the MOS on your own as you please. If you'd like to include a service, then please reach out to your partner team, and we'd be happy to think about how we can bake it into some of the solutions that we already have.
Thanks, Dennis. Is there anyone else? All right. If not, I think we can wrap up. So we'll be uploading the slides and the video on our partner webpage as well as the EMP. And I'll be sending out a wrap-up email with a feedback form. I really appreciate if you could just take 1 minute at most. It's not a very long form to fill it out so that we know how to improve future training sessions and make it a better experience for all of us. I'll definitely be seeing all of you soon. Thanks.